At 92, one of my patients still drives himself to the golf course, has perfect memory, and hasn't touched a single prescription pill in decades. In this video, I'm going to share the 6 daily habits he's followed for years. Habits that modern research confirms can keep your body mobile, your mind razor sharp, and your independence intact well into your 90s. These aren't complicated or expensive, but they work because they're done consistently. Stay until the end because habit number 6 is something I've never seen in any medical guideline, yet it might be the single most overlooked reason he's thriving. I'm Dr. Eli Morgan, a physician specializing in healthy aging. Over 3 decades, I've treated thousands of patients, but this man's story stands out, and what I learned from him can change how you approach your own health starting today. I still remember the first time I reviewed his chart. 92 years old, blood pressure like a 40-year-old athlete, normal blood sugar, steady gait, and not a single active prescription. This wasn't a case of good genes. In fact, his parents both passed before 70 from preventable conditions. When he walked into my office for his annual checkup, he joked about being busier than most 60-year-olds, and I believed him. That was the moment I decided to find out exactly how he was pulling this off. Health is built, not inherited. What I discovered over months of talking with him is something I've seen echoed in research again and again. Long life isn't a genetic lottery ticket. Yes, some people start with advantages, but it's daily behavior that protects or destroys the body over decades. He treats health like a bank account, making small deposits every single day. No crash diets, no extreme routines. Just the kind of habits that quietly prevent disease, keep muscles firing, and preserve a clear mind well past the age most people expect decline. I've also seen the opposite story too many times. Patients in their 70s who stopped challenging their bodies and minds, thinking rest would keep them safe. Within a few years, they were weaker, less steady, and relying on multiple medications just to get through the day. My 92-year-old patient refused that path. He enjoys desserts, skips workouts occasionally, but never lets comfort turn into stagnation. That difference, consistent movement, and mental engagement, is what separated his story from the usual curve of aging. Over the years, he's honed a set of 6 habits that act like guardrails, keeping his body and mind on track without strict rules or expensive routines. They're simple enough to fit into anyone's day, yet powerful enough to change the trajectory of aging. And one of them, habit number 6, is something I had never even considered recommending before meeting him. It's unusual, backed by surprising new science, and could be the missing link in your own health plan. If you start applying even one of these habits today, you'll likely notice more energy, sharper focus, and better balance within weeks. But to see why they work together so well, watch until the very end. That's where habit number 6 comes in. While we go through them, I'd like you to think about which one would be the hardest for you to commit to and share that in the comments. Habit number 1, morning sun, activation. Every morning, before coffee, before screens, he steps outside for at least 10 minutes. Not a stroll through the grocery store, but actual exposure to natural light, even if it's cloudy. This isn't just about fresh air. Research shows that early sunlight triggers a chain reaction in your body. It signals your brain to shut down melatonin production, boosts serotonin for mood, and helps regulate your sleep-wake cycle for the next 24 hours. He pairs it with light movement, sometimes just walking to the corner and back, to warm up his joints and get blood flowing to the brain. According to a 2023 study from the University of Sydney, people over 70 who regularly get morning light have significantly better sleep quality and reduced fall risk. The key here is consistency, not duration. He doesn't wait for perfect weather or the right motivation. 10 minutes leaning on the porch railing, face tilted toward the sun, counts. Skipping this ritual makes him feel sluggish by mid-morning, so he rarely misses it. For anyone starting out, you can make it easier by combining it with something you already do. Phone call with a friend, stretching, or even sipping your tea outside. The point is to anchor the day in a signal that says, it's time to be awake, alert, and moving. Habit number 2, the calming cup ritual. While many people start their day with a jolt of coffee, he opts for a slower, steadier approach, a cup of green or oolong tea brewed at just the right temperature. It's not about avoiding caffeine entirely, but about getting a gentler dose paired with antioxidants like EGCG, which studies link to improved brain function and reduced inflammation. He treats this as more than a drink. It's a daily mindfulness checkpoint. He sits near a window, no phone in sight, focusing on the warmth of the cup, the aroma, and the first sips. That 5 to 10 minutes lowers his heart rate, steadies his breathing, and sets a calmer tone for the day. I've seen this work for patients who struggle with anxious mornings. Swapping even 1 cup of coffee for tea can prevent the spike and crash cycle that fuels jitters and midday fatigue. In fact, research from the National University of Singapore found that regular tea drinkers over 60 had a 50% lower risk of cognitive decline compared to non-drinkers. If you can't part with coffee, try adding a calming cup later in the morning. Chamomile, rooibos, or matcha. The goal isn't perfection, it's balance. For my 92-year-old patient, this small choice each morning reinforces a message. I'm here to take care of my body, not just push it through another day. Habit number 3, daily brain resistance training. He approaches his brain like most people approach their muscles. If you don't challenge it, it weakens. Every day, he sets aside 15 to 20 minutes for what he calls his mental push-ups. This isn't passive TV watching or scrolling headlines. It's activities that make his mind strain just enough to adapt. Learning a new phrase in another language, solving logic puzzles, or practicing a musical piece on his keyboard. The key is novelty and difficulty. A crossword you can do half asleep won't trigger much growth, but tackling a new game or concept forces the brain to build fresh neural connections. A 2022 Mayo Clinic study found that older adults who engaged in new complex hobbies at least 3 times a week had better working memory and attention spans than those who stuck to familiar routines. He started this practice after noticing small lapses, forgetting names or misplacing objects. Within months, those lapses almost disappeared. I encourage patients to view this as preventive care for the mind, just like flossing for your teeth. The earlier you start, the more cognitive reserve you build to buffer against age-related decline. Even watching a video like this and applying its lessons can be one of today's mental push-ups. Habit number 4, movement with a social pulse. Twice a week, he attends a small group exercise class, sometimes chair yoga, sometimes light resistance training. The workout keeps his muscles active, but the real magic is the social element. Laughing with others, greeting familiar faces, and feeling part of a group gives him a boost no supplement could match. Research from the Harvard study of adult development shows that strong social connections can be as protective for long-term health as avoiding smoking. For him, this isn't about breaking records or pushing through pain. It's about maintaining confidence in his body while staying connected to people who share his commitment to living well. He told me that after his wife passed, these sessions became his anchor. They gave structure to his week and helped ward off loneliness, something that can silently undermine both physical and mental health. If group classes aren't an option for you, even walking with a neighbor or joining a local hobby group can create the same effect. Movement paired with human connection, which together strengthen not just the body, but the will to keep moving. Habit number 5, the evening reset ritual. About an hour before bed, he follows a routine that I've since recommended to dozens of patients. He dims the lights, plays soft instrumental music, and spends 10 to 15 minutes in slow breathing while focusing on 3 intentions for the next day. This isn't meditation in the strict sense. It's a signal to the nervous system that the work of the day is over. Lowering light helps melatonin rise naturally. Controlled breathing slows the heart rate, and intention setting organizes the mind so he falls asleep without running through a mental checklist at 2 a.m. A study from the University of California, Irvine, found that adults practicing evening relaxation routines slept 30% more efficiently and reported fewer nighttime awakenings. Over years, better sleep has cascading benefits: steadier mood, sharper thinking, and better glucose control. When I asked him what happens if he skips it, he laughed, "I pay for it the next morning. I'm slower, grumpier, and my balance feels off." You don't need special equipment, just a willingness to trade 15 minutes of screen time for a habit that can transform how your body repairs itself overnight. Habit number 6, micro adventures for the mind and body. This is the one that surprised me most. Once a week, he deliberately does something new in a completely different environment, what he calls a micro adventure. It could be taking a bus route he's never tried, visiting a local art exhibit, or joining a community cooking class. The activity itself isn't strenuous, but the novelty forces both his brain and body to adapt in real time. Why does this matter? A 2021 study in Nature Neuroscience found that experiencing new environments stimulates dopamine release, which boosts motivation and supports memory formation. Navigating unfamiliar places also challenges balance, spatial awareness, and problem solving, all critical for independence in older age. For him, these outings keep life feeling bigger than his living room. They give him stories to tell, people to meet, and a gentle push outside his comfort zone. He says they make him feel in training for the next decade, a decade he fully intends to enjoy. Even small changes, like shopping at a different market or exploring a nearby park, can give your mind and body a workout in ways the gym can't. Small steps, lasting change. The most important lesson from his story isn't any single habit. It's how he treats them as part of daily life, not a temporary program. He didn't start all 6 at once. He began with one, made it automatic, then added another. Over time, they stacked together like bricks, building a strong foundation that's carried him for decades. Many people try to overhaul everything in January, only to burn out by February. He avoided that trap by choosing consistency over intensity. Even when he travels or has an off day, he keeps at least part of the habit alive. A short walk instead of a full class, a 5-minute tea ritual instead of skipping it entirely. The results are cumulative. Each habit reinforces the others, creating a cycle where good sleep fuels. Energy for movement, movement sharpens the mind, and novelty keeps motivation high. That's how you age, not just longer, but better. If you're feeling overwhelmed, don't be. You don't need to master all 6 habits right away. Pick the one that feels easiest to start tomorrow and commit to it for 2 weeks. Once it feels natural, add another. The goal isn't to copy his exact routine. It's to build your own system that supports your body and mind for the long run. Final, after decades in medicine, I can tell you, there's no magic pill for aging well, but there are proven choices made daily that stack up to something far more powerful. My 92-year-old patient is living proof. If you found even one habit here worth trying, hit the like button so more people see this. Subscribe for more stories and strategies for healthy aging, and tell me in the comments, which habit will you start with? Your answer might inspire someone else to take their first step today.